Great. Today we are going to talk about everything SwiftUI text view. So grab your coffee and your Xcode, and we are going to dive deep into the realms of text from SwiftUI. This video is sponsored by SwiftUI Camp. Go ahead and check out the 50 go ahead and check out the link in the description where you can find the 50% off. I just mumbled that because it's such an amazing offer. Go ahead and check it out. Now, what I have done is just created a starter project. Now, we have this content view, and we are going to go through all of these files, by the way. So make sure to check out also the captions right over here, the chapters. And what I have added as a first thing that you should know is that this struct we have some strings with lorem ipsum, like an extra short, short, medium, long. We are going to use them in just a second. So on a content view, we have this text of hello world. This is basically the starter point of any SwiftUI project. Well, in earlier versions, it was just hello world. Now we have also an image, a system name image of globe. But basically, this is what you get. Now, how can you create a text? That's the first thing that we need to tackle. So just start off with text, and then you can just add a string right over here. So hello text. There we go. And of course, if you are just going to wait for the preview to just update itself, here we have it, hello text. So it's basically, we are adding strings over here. And as you can see, we are going to tackle quite a lot of things about text, because text is really a very crucial point of how we interact with our user interfaces. So let's just jump right into the first property, and that is the text style. And you will see that I have commented out some code just to make this tutorial really short. You will see it will span more than half an hour. But yeah, let's just start off by adding a simple font, and automatically it's just trying to add the title, but let's just start off with the large title. Basically, that's the default largest font system text style that we can add. And yeah, that's the large title. Now, why is this really important to use these large titles? Well, first of all, we have these as convenience. Second of all, if you are going to use that, well, your app will use basically dynamic typing. These are going to be scaled accordingly. So if the user has, let's say your grandma has these large fonts, your font, this text with this font of large title will accommodate accordingly. Now, if you're going to add a standard fixed size for your font, like, I don't know, 24, that can be also set up to accommodate to these dynamic changes. We're going to talk about them later, so make sure to check out the whole video. So coming back to these text styles, let's just comment these out so you can see them better. You can see we have all of these title 2, that's iOS 14, and then caption 2 all the way down here, iOS 14 plus, and then headline, body, callout, subheadline, footnote, caption. So basically, that's how you just style your text. There's also weight. Now, we have this ultralight, just a simple text. We can just add a font weight of, let's just start off with ultralight. And there it is. You can see now it's ultralight. Of course, you can just add all the other font weights. Let me just comment these out. Those are thin, light, regular, medium, semi-bold, bold, heavy, and black. By the way, there will be a link also to the GitHub repository in the description, so you can check all of this out later on. Okay, that's weight. Now, we can combine the text style with the weight too. So here we are going to set up a title with the ultra light. So let's just add the font, and we just go dot title, and then after the title you just add a dot and add a weight of dot ultralight. So this will be of type ultralight, and then the font size, like the text style, will be a title. Really, really nice. Let's move on to the font design. So with the font designs, you can set up your text font design. So we can just have, well, let's just start off with the default and then I'm just going to talk about the other ones. So we just go add the font and then dot system, and then you just set a size 35 and then set up the design. By default, you can just have dot default and they're just going to be just like this. There's also monospaced, rounded and serif. So monospaced, rounded and serif. So monospaced is basically for kind of codes. Then we have rounded, this really nice, fun and funky one, and then serif. Really, really nice. Okay. One thing to note here, you can add also the set size of your font, also set these text styles that are automatically given by the system. Okay, and let's discard changes. Yeah, you can add here like just font dot system size. You can just omit that. As you can see right over here, we just omitted that. Usually I just omit it, but yeah, it's just a font dot system size with the design. Next up comes formatting, and with formatting you can set bold, italic, strike through. We're just going to go through them. So let's just start off with the easiest one, and that is the bold. So just type out bold, and there we go. We have this as bold. Now, if you type that view modifier again, you will see that there is an option with a Boolean is active value. So I have created this modifier active state variable. So let's just add it over there. And this is, by the way, hooked up to this toggle. So now, because this is set to true, this active bold is actually bold. But if we switch it off, you will see that it's just going to remove the boldness. Now, the same goes for yeah, we also have italic, strike through, and foreground style and underline. So italic, strike through, foreground style. I just set an orange and then underline. Now, coming back, the same goes for all of those with the modifier. So these are the ones with the modifier. And if I just switch between those, as you can see, it's coming back to the regular default, active, bold, active, all of those. And just set that formatting onto your text, which is really, really nice. In some cases, you want to change that on the fly with the switch of a state variable. Let's move forward, because now we have these view modifiers basically for changing the formatting. We also have Markdown. Now, let's start off with italic. So let's just add these two stars over here. You know, the text between those two stars will be just italic. There's another way of doing it, like with underscores. It does the same thing. Choose whatever you'd like. Then we have the bolds, and then bold and italic, so 3 of them. And finally, we have a URL and a code. If you tap on the URL, it will just take you to that URL. It's just going to move to the standard setup browser that is on your device. Okay, next up is line spacing. So here you can see that I'm now using this lorem ipsum struct that I have set up. It's just a long text. And maybe I just want to set up bigger line spacing because it's, you know, it's really, really tight. So I just go dot line spacing, and then you just set, then we'll be just fine right over here. We have the line spacing set up. Now we just, you know, move the spacing between the lines. What about the characters? That's called tracking. So you can just set up tracking, for example, right over here, tracking of 5 to be, yeah, let's just see that it's you know, just really, really nice. That is this extra short, just as an example. Now you could just set up also negative numbers, like just going to pull the letters, individual letters in. Of course, this doesn't look really readable, but just, you know, if you have a font that you are going to, you know, need to have a tracking of negative values, you can do so. Next up is text selection. So by default, you cannot actually select. I'm double tapping over here, double clicking actually. You can't do that. So you need to enable that. And that is done with the text selection and selectability dot enabled. And now I can just go ahead and force long press over here, and the default selection will appear right over there. Really nice. Next is line limit. So we have this really long text, but maybe we just want to show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever lines. So we just want to add the line limit view modifier, and let's just go for 2. That's really nice. As you can see, we have these 3 dots, the ellipses right over here. We're going to talk about how you can move this in just a second. Make sure to either check out the chapters down below over here, or just watch till the end. Image in text. So we have this simple lorem ipsum text right over here. What I want to do is actually add a check mark in front of it. Now, we did not talk about adding text after text, but this is basically what it's using. Maybe I should have just changed its order, but now we are going to add a text with an image. Let me just show you. So text, and then we are going to have an image, and it will be of system name, and it's checkmark.circle.fill. Yes, I have had to write it down over here, not to forget. So checkmark.circle.fill. There we go. Okay, and then you can just style it. So plus dot, and let's just go with the foreground style, and let's just go with green. Why not? Now this looks really let me just see what's going on over here. Oh, I had to add the foreground style not on the image itself, but on the text. So you can just style your text as usual, what we already learned right over here. So that's fine, but as I told you, I just want to add it right over here like it would have been written in one line. That's really easy. You just add this plus, and we are going to learn about this with the combining part of our tutorial over here. Make sure to either jump over there or just wait till we get over there. Also, I saw that this is kind of too close over here, so I don't want to use the padding while I could. I'm just going to add plus text and then just a spacer right over here, a space, just simply as that. This is really nice because then it's just going to scale with the size of the text if you just set the font size to these. Okay, next up comes truncation mode. Now, truncation mode is basically where those 3 ellipses are going to be. And let's just start off with this one. You see, we have all of these, like we have no line limit over here and then 2 line limits. Well, let's just start off and add a truncation mode dot head right over here. So now you see it's right over here, these 3 dots, the ellipses. And then if you don't set anything and you have a line limit, of course, and the text is much longer, as you can see right over here, it's just 3 lines, then it's just going to add it to the tail. You can also add it to the middle, as you can see right over here. Here are the ones that middle. Or if you have more than 1 line limits, then it's just going to add it right over here, which is really interesting. Good to know. You could just change this to tail if you choose to, but then just using the default, you don't even have to add the truncation mode if the truncation mode of tail is what you want. Okay, but maybe I don't want to see these 3 dots. Let's talk about the minimum scale factor. And here we have this lorem ipsum short, like it's barely fitting in, and it's adding this ellipsis right over here. Well, you can add a minimum scale factor. So basically it's just going to scale the font down to that minimum. And let me just show you what I mean by that. If I set this minimum scale factor to 1, then 100% of the font size will be used. But if I set this to 0.6, then it's just trying to scale it down all the way down to the 16th percent of the actual size of the font. So if this font were 100 points, then the minimum, like it's just going to scale it down till it's just going to fit the screen, the minimum would be 60. After that, it's just going to truncate it again. Okay, layout priority. So as you can see here, we have multiple, yeah, thank you for the subscribe. We have multiple layout priorities, like multiple views with the same layout priority. So by default, it's 0. So everybody is trying to take up as much space as it can. And you can see we have this large text over here. We have these truncations with the ellipses. Now, you want to set up, let's just see, 0 is the layout priority for everybody. So let's just have the layout priority of 1 on the blue one. Now you can see that these two are zeros and then this is 1. So it has a priority when it's laid out on the view. Now, what if I add a layout priority of 2 on the red? So it's going to be first, then second, then third. So red, blue, and green. This is how a layout priority works. It's really amazing when you want to have some sort of a layout priority on some of your texts. Next comes alignment. Now, alignment is, really easy to understand with SwiftUI because it's usually in the center. As you can see, we have this extra short right over here and it's centered. But what happens if you have a longer text, like it's multiple lines? Then the default, this is really strange, but actually not really. The default switches to leading. So as you can see right over here, these two are leading. Now, what I want to do is just set up the leading, let's see, dot multi-line text alignment. I could just go for, leading, that's the default one. But there are also center and trailing. So now this is centered, this is trailing, and the last one is leading. You don't really have to set up the leading because that's the default one. Usually I just go and set up for the center and trailing. And yeah, I really like the center one. But of course it depends on your designs. Now finally we come to the combining, what I was talking about. So you can just combine these texts, like as you can see it here. It's really nice. Now why would you do that? And you already saw a quick example of what we did earlier. We can set up custom, like really whatever we want, custom view modifiers for that particular text view. So let's just have this as a bold and then maybe underline or whatever. You can just set here foreground style and it's really powerful. Okay, so that's combining baseline offset. So let's just take a look at this combining. So we have lorem and then ipsum and then dolor. Okay, but the ipsum is of a font large title. And actually I don't really like this because now the baseline offset is set over here to 0. I just want to basically push it down, but what I mean by that is just having, just centered all over them. So I'm just going to add a baseline offset, and by default it's 10. So I saw it just jumped up. So I'm just going to go with -4, and this is how it just really centered. There you have it. It's baseline offset. Great. So now we're just using the standard font. Let's see. By the way, let me just see what we can just change over here. Oh yeah, this is a CG font. Okay. So custom fonts. You can have custom fonts, meaning custom like it's not the standard system font. You can set, there are multiple system fonts on your device. So let's just go with Avenir next. So we just go dot font and then just go dot custom and the name. I'm just going to copy this out and then size maybe 30. There we go. Now it's Avenir next. Avenue next bold with a weight. So for that, we just need to set up this font dot custom. Again, Avenue next. Let me just copy this out so I don't have a typo. 30 again, and then just set a weight of bold. And there we go. It's really, really easy to use custom fonts. Now, you can also have imported fonts. So, for example, what I have done for this project, here we have a separate folder for the imported font. It is Volta Bold. Go ahead and check it out. Now, I have drag and drop this font. It's an OTF font, but you can use TTF also. This is the first step. Next step, you want to go to your info plist file and click on one of these plus buttons and then add fonts provided by application. Expand on that and item 0, you may have multiple items. Add the actual file name of your font. So volta-bold.otf. This is really important. Now, how are you going to use it? Let's just go back. Let's just have a font dot custom. You might think that you are going to add volta-bold and then maybe 30, but it might not work. In this case, it does work, but I do know that you have to actually use the name of the font. This is how it looks like. As you can see now, it's not doing anything. Dash, that's fine, but sometimes it's not going to be the exact same name as the file name. So how are you going to get that? So let's show in Finder and then right click on it and get info. Right over here, you will see that there is this, where is the name? There we go, full name, Volta Bold. There we go. That is actually the name that you want to use when you are going to access it inside your project. And that's it. Now you have your custom font, like really, really imported font, not just a custom font, imported font. Next comes capital letters. Now, there are multiple ways of adding caps, uppercase small caps, lowercase small caps. So let's just start off with that. So just have a font and then dot title again, and then lowercase small caps. And this is just as the original. As you can see, these are the changes. So it's lowercase small caps. Let me just uncomment these two so you can take a look at the differences between lowercase small caps, uppercase small caps, and small caps. Whatever your outcome you want to be, you just want to choose between these. And then there's uppercase and lowercase. So you can just go for text case and then uppercase. There we go, it's uppercase. And then there's also, of course, lowercase, which is going to make it lowercase. This is self-explanatory. Now comes a really, really interesting part, dates. So you can set up texts with the date data. So here we go. You see, this is date. This is our current date. This is how we just get now. So let's just start with the first one. So date of style date. This is a brand new text initializer. You are just going to add a style and just choose, in this case, date. Or you could just choose the time. That will display only the time. As you can see, this is only the date, only the time. Now, we can also show an offset. This is 1 hour plus. We can also set up a relative one. So 1 hour, 40 minutes, adding interval with a timer. So 140, and it's just going to keep on counting up. And also 2 dates. So date all the way up to adding interval 6,000 seconds, which is of course 1 hour. There we go. We have these really, really nice styles for the dates. There is coming some more, but let's just go to talking about font scaled metric. So let me just go ahead and let's I don't know if you can just see this, so I'm just going to move it out. If you are going to enable the dynamic type, you will see that the first text is actually not changing itself according to the dynamic type when we are changing it. which is really bad experience. What you want to do is just set it up to actually accommodate this. But how to do that? Because, you know, I'm really keen on having this size of 25. Well, you can just use a scaled metric for that. And how do you do that? Well, you create a scaled metric property wrapper private var font size. Instead of adding this size of 25 like a constant, you're just going to add that scaled metric. So system size of font size. Now let's see how it's going to behave. So let me just see. Let's go back all the way to medium. I believe medium is, or rather large. Okay, so now we are on the large. This is just the default one. And if we just move this all the way up, it's just going to scale accordingly, which is really nice. Great. Okay, so let's move on to the dynamic type size limit. Yeah, maybe you don't want to scale it all the way up or all the way down. You can choose to limit this. So with the dynamic type size, and then you just go maybe dot medium and then 3 dots. Make sure that you add also the spaces before and after the 3 dots and the X large. Okay, now let's see how this will behave. Let's just see. I'm just scaling it up. We are at X large. Then only one will be scaled up, as you can see, not the second one. Really nice. Okay. Let's move on to formatting, and this is really powerful. So here we can see that we have this number of 42, which is actually a string, but what if I want to add this as a number? So I'm just going to remove the quotes over there and add dot format and then dot number. And now it's formatted as a number. You can also set the format to be %, and then also set it up as a currency. There are a lot of currency codes. Go ahead and check them out. It's just the usual currency codes. So it's really powerful. Then, as I told you, we have some really good stuff on the dates. There's also date formatting. Now, there's a lot to see over here. So I'm just going to go through them without any typing. So first of all, you want to set the date and then dot formatted. There is a date and a time property right over here. And then you can just mix and match, abbreviated, omitted. Omitted is just, you know, it's not going to show the time at all. Completed, omitted. And make sure that you just check out all of these in the example. Then there is week of year, so formatted, dot, date time, dot week, week of month, date time, weekday as a wide, and then the day or ordinal of day in month. So the number, you know, the order, the number of the day, which is the number of the day in the month, basically. The same goes for the time. So here you can see that the date is omitted and we have some options for the time, and we can just set the minute, second, time zone also, and we can have pick and choose. So we have minute, hour, 2 digits, AM, PM, omitted, and date time for the formatted. So it's really powerful. Go ahead and check this list out and play with them to your needs. So you can see there's a lot of variety right over here. Then there's name format. So moving on with the formats, here I have created a name with a prefix, given name, middle name, family name, name suffix, and nickname. And then there is this name with a format of name style abbreviated. So it's the Bob Smith. So BS, not BS, but BS. Okay. Then there's short, that is the nickname basically. Then medium, Bob Smith. And then there's long, basically everything. Now you can just also format lists with the text. And here I have just set up an array of basically names And then I have the format of .list type and. So it's just going to go either Bob Clare and Dean, or you can just go with or. So either Bob Clare or Dean, and with, and is just going to be narrow, so no and word over there. You can just choose with a short too, so the comma is missing, and then the standard one. So either Bob Clare and Dean. And basically that's it. Now, a lot we have covered about the SwiftUI text, but if you really want to learn SwiftUI in 4 weeks, go ahead and check out SwiftUI Camp. A link for a 50% off is in the description, and I will see you in next one.